Hi everybody! Today I'm doing a container ship tour in Minecraft from on my container ship I built. You'd probably the reason I'm doing this rather than a cruise ship is because, well, both of my cruise ships are are in corrupt worlds, which means that because of my hard drive, because I have two hard drives and one of them failed and both the cruise ships were on that world. But I do have a container ship that's not on a failed world. So, and the also reason is there's some. A lot of you would just think that container ships are basically sea trucks, but they're actually a lot more lively than I think they are than that. So let's get started with the tour. This is the bow. This is what cuts through the water and basically makes the ship pointy. That's the only way I can describe it. Over here we have the anchor, which, you know what these are. They basically stop the ship when it's, going to stop. But a lot of these days a lot of ships these days only use the propeller, but the anchor is like for emergency braking. Then to get back into the ship, you go down here. There's nothing in here. This is just where like storage is and things. It's just that we're not storing anything in here at the moment. Here is a big tank of bunker oil. The reason why we have this big tank of bunker oil is because that's what the ship runs on. A lot of people would think they'd run on diesel fuel, or maybe even gasoline if you're really stupid. But they actually run on bunker oil. So yeah, it's just a big tank of bunker oil. Here we have the backup generator room. There's another big tank of bunker oil, and it can last the ship for about 3 hours. On the backup generator for electricity, if the main generator cuts out, and that would be very bad. So these are primarily used when a ship is sinking, because you need because on modern ships you need electricity to deploy the lifeboats, which we'll get to later. If I just turn it on, that runs the generator, but I better keep it off because in case the ship sinks. So we'll still have quite a bit of bunker oil in that tank. Here's the mez, which is where the ship is. This is where all the ship's crew eat. And I also have some vending machines back here. I have a chocolate vending machine and a vending machine that's currently empty. Next, this is where some of the rooms are. Well, not the rooms, but here's the galley, or kitchen. You can wash your hands here. There's an oven to cook food, and it's nice, conveniently placed close to the mez. Then we have the manifest room. So this is where so the color behind the sign is the color of the container on the ship, and the sign tells you what it's carrying. So red containers are car parts, purple containers are rope, magenta containers are tape, pink containers are computers, green containers are chemical products like bottles of mosquito spray. Then the dark green is tools, the cyan is candy, the light blue is eggs, dark blue is oil, not bunker oil, just normal oil. Orange is pills and medication products. Yellow is petrol, so that's what your car runs on, unless you're in a rich family and your car's electric. Um, um, there we have frozen produce, and the last one's books. So that's all the containers. Oh, right. Yeah, let's actually go up here. Nothing. Here's a more storage room. Another storage room, like at the bow. But if you go up here, more storage. But here is where it gets interesting. These are lifeboats, and that I said I'd be talking about these later. This is a lifeboat hanging here on these little deploying arms. And I built a lifeboat over here to show you what it would look like in the water. And this is where it's also, yeah. This is what the interior of the lifeboats is. Oh, actually, I forgot something. Let me just build that to show you. So you hop up here, and this is where you drive the lifeboat. Here's seats. So the reason why lifeboats are here is because if a ship sinks, you can't swim in negative 10-degree water until help arrives. That's why there's little boats attached to the side of the big ships where the crew are. Usually container ships only have 2 or even sometimes 1. And even on the biggest ships, which you'd expect to be crewed by hundreds of men, but actually, a lot of container ships are only crewed by 13 people. Even the biggest ones in the world, like the Emma owned by Maersk, and the MCS Oscar owned by MCS, which are some of the biggest ships in the world. In fact, the MCS Oscar is twice the length of the Titanic. That is a big ship. So yeah, and they're still only crewed by like 30 men, not 30, like 13 people, because that's just how many you need, because you just need like 2 to run the engine and a few to work around the stuff. And like 1 to be the captain and something. Anyway, I'm just gonna fly up here back to the ship. So enough with talking about huge ships. Here is the lounge. Yep, container ships have lounges. Reason being is crews can be on ships for years at a time. So there's a big nice TV, an area to eat food if you don't want to go to the mess down there. In fact, even a pool. Nothing too special, but it is heated. Ah! Fell back in the lifeboats. Here are the rooms. This is where 2 crew could sleep at a time, or passengers. Cruise ships, why do I keep saying cruise ships? Container ships have passengers, and sometimes, and that's because like some people really are scared of flying, so they just want to go on a container ship overseas, because cruise ships are very expensive. These are normal container ships are also very expensive, but there are a bit cheaper. Like a ship over the Atlantic Ocean costs like $1,500. And you need so yeah, these are pretty interesting. And just like to the other side of the country, going all the way around for the Panama Canal or something, would probably be about $1,000. I have more rooms here. Oh, and it's getting dark, which is good, because we're just about to go to the brain of the ship, the bridge. This is where the ship is controlled, and the captain can get a good view over his entire ship. I have controls for stuff, and I also have a chart or map. So we're sailing pretty close to uncharted territory, actually. We have a compass. Here's the speed thing. So we have 15, so we're going at 16 knots, or around 20 kilometers per hour. And top speed is 20 knots. So we're slow steaming. I'll have a link to a video about that in the description. And here, on one of the wings, because ships have little wings that stick out, the ships can't fly, obviously, but it helps the captain see out. And here, in case the ship is sinking, we have flares. So they shoot up really high into the sky and explode, so other nearby ships can get help, can get us help. All of the ships I build have flares, and if you have any, you should give them too. Unless they're like sailing ships, because like fireworks hadn't been invented. Like sail ships with big sails that are useless, because internal combustion is the way to go. So I also here. So I have some seats here, and here is the captain's room. He has all the necessary stuff, including a flat screen TV where he's watching baseball at the moment, but he's not here. And I'll just sleep here. Just don't tell the captain, please. He's probably eating in the mess or something. So if I go back down the tower, if I go back down the superstructure, then we can get back to the next more offices and boring offices and stuff. So here is the main office, where why are there villagers? Anyway, we have little windows you can see out into the water. Oh, there's the lifeboat too. Cool. And here is the generator room. This is the main generator, not the backup generator. So it's always supplying power, unless the ship is sinking, of course. If you go over here, it's just a clump of electric. It's just a big generator powered by the engine, which we'll go to next. This is by far my favorite part of the ship. This is the engine room. This big engine, powered by bunker oil, powers the entire ship. Unless it's sinking, of course, then the back generators get bored. We have a water treatment facility here as well. So water is taken in from the ocean through this little pipe, and then it's going out to supply the crew's needs. Then it comes back all dirty, goes into this treatment plant, and then either goes through that pipe back out into the sea, or it goes down this pipe and keeps the engine cool. Ship engines are by far the biggest liquid-cooled engines in the world. Most engines that you'll find in cars are air-cooled. But these ones are water-cooled. So these are the biggest water-cooled engines in the world. Powering your ships, powering container ships that get your stuff from A to B. up here I have the trash bin. I have a trash bin. So if, let me just get a random block. And then water gets, so if I, whee! Don't worry, it's plastic, the turtles will eat it. Here is the stern, or aft. On ships it's called an aft, on small boats it's called the stern. Oh, it's auto-saving. Cool. So here you can see some of the containers, and you have this lone villager who's doing stuff. And you can see the stuff. Now I'm done with the internal stuff. Let's fly around and show you the external. Here's the smokestack. This is what powers. This is where all the stuff, the ship's exhaust comes out. And it's not that much considering how big a ship it is, running on such a big tank of bunker oil. But that's because ships can sail across entire oceans and back without refueling. So that's really neat, I'd say. I can just, so you can see in the bridge as well, and here's all the containers. Well, most of them anyway. Here's the anchor, which I talked about at the beginning. And here's the hull. So this is the hull where the big body of the ship, and I have water getting pushed out of the way from the ship. If I go down here, you'd probably expect it to be nice and smooth, but this big jout. And what this big jout does is it protects the ship. I mean, it doesn't protect the ship, but basically it cuts for the water easier. And you'd probably expect it to be for breaking ice or something, but the ship just goes through the water. And here are side thrusters. There's 4 of them around the ship, and a lot of the power when coming into port is done by the tugboats. But the ships can help themselves a little bit with these thrusters. They're pretty tiny. Oof. So, yeah, that's that. I don't have any fish around, though, because they just despawn. So there's more thrusters over here. And this is the water intake for the engine room, as you can see that. And here is the propeller, which doesn't spin because it's Minecraft. In real life, though, this would spin around, pushing the ship through the water. And this is the rudder, which steers. And again, there's just, most of the weight from the ship is containers. Now, I'm going to, anyway, thanks for watching. Goodbye!